when it comes to the strategy of automating your business, we kind of touched on it a little bit already, but what you want to do is first, you need to be where the people are who want your product or service, right? And you want to be where they are because you have to be consistently bringing in new people. So I've told you guys last week, anytime that I am not running ads, there's no new people getting on my email list, and there may not be any sales happening on that day. Does that make sense? Because at all times, you are supposed to be bringing in new potential clients and customers. The problem is the way that most of us know how to do that requires us to be hands-on at all times. The way that most of us know how to do it is the organic method, which means you are either talking to each person, telling them what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what your prices are, or you are making posts on your social media. It typically, the organic methods are very slow. They might be free or low cost, but they are going to take you forever to reach the same amount of people that you could have if you use the strategies we're talking about, right? So basically, the name of the game is you have to be willing to pay to play. So let me break this down to you guys, all right? As a matter of fact, I'm going to need a little bit of crowd participation. When it comes to marketing and or advertising your business or a business in general, what are the ways that you guys think of? And you can either unmute yourself or you could type it in the chat. But when it comes to marketing your business, what are the options that you think you have? Anyone?
About Instagram.
Instagram, okay. So we're gonna call that social media. So that's all of them: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. That's social media. Okay. So that's one of the organic, and that really is one of the most popular organic methods that people are using these days because it's free and it's easy. Renee, you got one?
Email marketing.
Email marketing. Perfect. So we got social media, we got email marketing. There's TV commercials, there's radio advertisement. You can still be on the side of a bus. You can still be at the bus stop on the bench. You can do billboards, like all of the tradition. You can do snail mail, so you can send out like little postcards and stuff. All of that stuff is what we are talking about with traditional marketing and advertising efforts. So what's the problem with that? Do they work? They absolutely work. That's why people have been doing them for a long time, right? But the problem with several of these methods is it's blanket marketing. So what I mean by that is you go and you pay, I don't know how much a billboard costs. Let's just say the billboard costs $1,000. You go and you pay $1,000 to be on a billboard or on a bus station, the side of a bus or whatever. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the vicinity of that billboard or sign is going to see it. My 8-year-old son is going to see it. My mom's going to see it. My dad's going to see it. I'm going to see it. Everybody, right? But the majority of the people who are going to see it are not who you even want to talk to, right? Does that make sense? Most of the people who see TV commercials, billboards, all of those other methods that I just mentioned, most of the time it's blanket marketing and everybody's going to see it. And so there's no way to really hone in your efforts, right? So one of the reasons why you should be willing to pay to play, meaning you need to pay per click, is you can target people, meaning you can hone in. And if I know I'm trying to help Black women get into trucking or to make more money in trucking, then I'm probably not going to be targeting duck hunt. Like, I'm not going to be targeting like, just random shit that Black women are not interested in, right? I'm not going to just go and put it on a billboard. But I would be able to specifically hone in on where my Black women are congregating, right? So the strategy is to figure out where your target audience are congregating, and you need to get your message in front of them as much as possible, as often as possible, but to that small group of people. Okay. So there's three ways that you can go about doing that. And when I say targeting, that is marketing language for honing in on a specific demographic of people. So you can target people based on a lot of things. You can target people based on age, location, by interest. You can target based off of pages they might follow on social media, right? So most of the time, if you are to learn how to do paid advertising, they're going to show you how to target by interest. So what that means is if you're learning how to run ads on Facebook for your product or service, they're going to say you have to pick a customer avatar. My customer avatar is a Black woman, right? So what you are to do by general marketing standards is you need to write down who is this woman. So my woman is a Black woman, like 30 to 40 years old. Her name is Bianca. She has 2 kids. She is divorced. She works in corporate America and she wants to quit. Like, you need, like, this is how you go about traditional interest targeting. You go down and you write out who the person is that is your ideal customer. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person, like, if you tell me step 1 is to do your research, like, I'm like, yeah, okay, next, step 2, I'm skipping that shit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But when you're trying to do advertising, you're trying to market, and you're trying to make sure that you're actually able to sell your product or service, this is the most important step, right? It's also the most important step when you're talking about traditional methods, because you have to know who the person is in order to get your ad in front of them. So if you run ads on Facebook, what happens is you need to know, well, what kind of TV shows is this the person who is interested in what you are doing watches? So when I was doing my interest targeting for trucking, when I first started running ads, um, I used to target stuff like different TV shows, publications, or people that these people would like. So examples would be a lot of my fiance and a lot of his friends, they would watch all the same shows. So like there were Street Outlaws was a show that a lot of the guys would watch, and so I had that on there. They would do all of those car shows. I would put all of that stuff on there. But then there are also like trucking related publications. So there's like Truck Paper, there are it completely just went out of my mind. But there is a how did that go out? Overdrive. Overdrive is a publication. Like, I would go and I would type in the major trucking industry related publications. I would go in and I would type in the trucks. So Peterbilt, Mack, International, Volvo. I would type in that stuff. I would type in CDL driver, right? So these are things that, when you're on Facebook, you like different pages. When you're on Facebook, you follow different people. You comment on different things. And so the social media platforms, they look at your behavior, they track your behavior, and they say, okay, this person is interested in Duck Dynasty. This person is interested in, um, you know, uh, Big Rig Repo, whatever shows they are. So that's how I did my targeting at first. And it works, right? I used that for a long time. So that's one option. You get to know who your people are and you target them based on the things that they are looking at on social media. And if you don't know what they're looking at, that's where you go and you get into the Facebook groups and you see what are they talking about. Because even though you're in a group that might be, I'm in a group and the group is for buying and selling trucks. But guess what? They are in there posting all kinds of random stuff, but it shows me what they're interested in, right? And so that's one way, targeting by interest. The next way is to use someone else's targeted audience. So I'm going to use me in this example. Y'all know that I have been building my audience for years, right? And you know that because of what I talk about, the majority of people in my audience are related or are interested in trucking related stuff, whether they want to get into trucking or whether they're already in it. Something about trucking is probably what brought them to my ecosystem. So if you were to go and you look at my social media pages, you say, okay, on Instagram, I got like 30 some thousand followers. TikTok, I don't know, like 10,000 followers. I just got 1,000 on YouTube. So if you wanted to target my audience, you could say, hey, BJ, I got this planner that I think your audience might be interested in. So can I pay you to email and post about my product? Right? So this is what we call a sponsored post or a joint venture or an affiliate relationship, right? These are things that we've talked about already. So you reach out to someone who has a targeted audience and you borrow their audience. So you would, most of the time, these people already have their rates established. But if someone doesn't, then you need to negotiate a rate or a commission or something where they will be able to promote the product that you have on their social media platform, on their emails, on their live streams or whatever. And then you get sales. Either you paid them for the post or you've agreed to give them a commission based off of the sales that they generate with their link, right? So that's another way to market and get people into your ecosystem without you having to talk to them. So first way is to run ads based on their interest. The second way can be to do sponsored posts, sponsored emails, meaning you're going to pay someone to talk about your product on their own platform. So on their social media, on their Facebook group, whatever it is that their platform is. Okay. The third, option, which is my favorite one, is going to be targeting by location. So this is going to be a combination of one and two. So you're still going to use your paid ads platform, whether it's Google ads, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever ad platform it is, you're still going to use that platform, right? And you are going to tap into someone else's audience. And what I mean by that is the same way that you can look and you can find pockets of people interested in trucking stuff online, you can find these pockets of people in the real world. IRL, as the young kids say, right? So, where do the people who need your product and service hang out at? Truck stops, parts stores, fulfillment centers, right? So when you target by location, you're going to use the paid ads platform to target someone else's audience. And you're going to do it by their location. So as long as you can get the address of a truck stop, of the parts store, of the fulfillment center, you can literally target to people who have been within 1 mile of that address over a certain period of time. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. So option 3, again, you're going to combine 1 and 2, and you really are going to borrow someone else's audience, because a truck stop Yes, you're going to get some random people who stop at a truck stop just because they pulled off the road and they need to get gas, right? But the majority of the time, someone who's at a truck stop, they're there because either their vehicle is so big they ain't got nowhere else to go, or because they need some diesel fuel, or they need something that is inside the truck stop, whether it's the showers, some food, whatever, right? So that is someone else's audience. That truck stop has done the work of bringing people to the truck stop. So they, for all intents and purposes, own that audience. Now you are going to say, I want to target anyone who has visited this location or who has been within 1 mile of this location in the past however long, right? And so now what you're doing is you're doing something similar to the billboard. You're doing something similar to the bus, because anybody that's been in that area is going to get your ad. But depending on the locations that you choose, it's going to be a pretty niche audience, right? You're going to, like, for example, fulfillment centers, a lot of the times they're amongst other fulfillment centers. And so if you do a 1 mile radius of a fulfillment center that is in the middle of an industrial park, right? The majority of the people that you're going to target are either people who work at that industrial park, or is going to be people who are there driving the trucks. Okay. So one of these three, or all of these three, a combination of these three, should be your strategy to bring people into your ecosystem, right? Because what we don't want to do is, as the owner of this business, you don't want to spend your time, which you cannot replace, you don't want to spend your time chasing after customers. These people are already out here. They already know and need your product and or service. Let them come to you. It's easier to make a sale when someone has come looking for what you have to offer versus you calling them and trying to convince them to use you. Does that make sense? Like, I would rather convince someone to sign up for my trucking consulting services because they clicked my link. They showed an interest versus me calling them on the phone and saying, hey, are you interested? Because when someone clicks a link, that shows intent. When someone puts their name and email address in on your form, that shows intent. Every step of the way, they're showing that they are more and more interested in what you have to offer. So your time will not be wasted. So yeah, these are people you have no idea about, and technically they would be cold leads, but it's not cold calling. Do you guys understand that? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. When you are on the hunt for customers and clients, it just takes so much more energy in order to make that sale. What you want is for someone to be interested, click on your page, go to your website, put their name and phone number in, and now you at least know they're somewhat interested and you are more likely to get a sale out of them. Now you can follow traditional marketing standards, which say you got to touch someone 7 times before they'll make a purchase. Well, now you've gotten their contact information and you can reach out to them 7 times versus you hoping that they pass your billboard 7 times. Okay. So